could be approaching Earth from this significant force?
No, we can receive some meteors and meteorites as a result of dying heavenly bodies that can fall on the Earth or can fall on any other body in the universe. We can get, the Earth receives annually several thousands of tons of iron meteorites, stony meteorites, iron stony meteorites. But this does not mean that you will get a whole body colliding with the Earth,
yes,
as many people would imagine. A comet would hit the Earth and it will destroy everything. No. As
so
believers,
these scientific fictions are not really true.
Well, they are not purely fictitious, you see. If you don't believe in the greatness of your Creator, if you don't believe that you are really within the mercy of that Creator, and this great Creator is taking care of everything in that universe, then any event in the earth would create havoc, actually.
Of course.
Would make people worried and panicking and expecting dangers any moment, you see. But once you trust in your Creator, you trust that He will keep that universe intact until the last hour. And when the last hour will come, everything will collapse.
Okay. We hope not. No. Speaking about the graviton, or the ways that the scientists are now measuring the force or the power, or the unseen pillars of the sky, is there something that is measurable now, that they can measure this power?
Yes, these nuclear powers are measurable. The strong nuclear power is measurable. The weak nuclear power of our force is measurable. The electromagnetic waves are measurable. Even the gravity is measurable. But in what form?
Yes.
We don't know. The graviton is...
We cannot quantify the...
You cannot specify it.
Specify.
You can quantify it, but you cannot
cannot
specify it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And do scientists now are using or are thinking of ways to maybe use a similar methodology of having these powers for maybe producing energy on Earth?
Oh yes, definitely. There are many ways in which scientists are trying to simulate what's going on in the universe. One of these basic ways is trying to get nuclear fusion, which is happening within the stars, but at lower temperatures. And they have not succeeded so far, but they are still trying. Because if you can get energy from nuclear fusion, you can solve many problems of the universe.
Yes, which is a very important item. Okay, we'll move now for a very short break and return back for more explanations and more questions from my dear guests. So stay tuned with us.
Brothers and sisters, to increase your iman.
خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا. Learning how to recite the Quran properly, learning the meaning of what we recite, including the ahkam from the verses which we recite, trying to implement what we learn in our daily life. Would listen to the participants and the guests. We'll take your phone calls. We're going to recite live. We'll listen to your recitation and we'll correct it according to the rules and regulations which will state in each episode. Now your dream will come true.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Welcome back. You're watching Quran and Science. And now we leave the floor to Muhammad Saif. He has a couple of questions to be asking to Dr. Zaghlol.
Sir, I wanted to ask you, sir, is that does the sun also have an orbit of its own, which it revolves? Or
Can you pass this?
Okay, the question is does the sun have an orbit for itself?
Yes, yes. Every heavenly body has got an orbit. There is no chaos in this universe. Everything is fixed in its own orbit and is running at its own speed. And everything in that universe is running. And one of the signs of the greatness of the Creator is that everything is running, but the relationships are fixed.
Yes.
So that it would appear to people as if nothing is running, you see. And actually, the earth is in every second of its life is different place in the universe. Every second, we are in a different place in the universe.
So there's no case in the universe, the only case comes from the human creation.
Human mind.
Because the galaxy is expanding, and I think there are ayahs of the Quran
Yes, the universe
supporting
is
it.
expanding. And these relationships can always be kept constantly.
Yeah.
And this again, amazing. You get a continuously running universe at different speeds, and each heavenly body has got actually more than one movement, yet no collapse, no crashing, no collision with each other, and the fixed relationship are kept constant, so that you don't feel that you have moved, you see, but actually you have moved.
Okay, Dr. Zaghlol, before moving to Abdurrahman's question, I need to know more about the second part of the verse, which is about ثم استوى على العرش وسخر الشمس والقمر.
Yeah. ثم استوى على العرش, then Allah has established himself on the throne on a way which we cannot describe, a way that relates to his majesty subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the human brain cannot perceive the identity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why anything in the Quran that relates to Allah, we leave it without really commenting on it. We accept it as is. And inshallah on the day of judgment we can understand it. Because Allah is above the human intellect to perceive or to understand. وَسَخَّرَ الشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ, and He has established for both the sun and the moon their courses, wherein they cannot get out of it, you see. Because if the sun was drifted away from us a little bit, we would freeze. If it came slightly closer to us, we would burn. So to keep things in order, Allah has established the orbits for every universal body, and every universal body, like the sun or the moon or the earth, cannot get out of its established orbit. And that's why He said, وَسَخَّرَ الشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ. He has established the sun and the moon to play their role in making life on the surface of that planet feasible and happy. And if they get out of that orbit, everything can be destroyed.
Okay, and the last part of the verse, which is لأجل المسمى يدبر الأمر يفضل الآيات لعلكم بلقاء ربكم تقولون.
نعم.
The entire verse
means that if you look into these matters, you can realize that all the unseen knowledge in that book is correct. If Allah says that there is an end for life on that planet, and everybody will go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there will be a day of resurrection, a day of gathering with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, accountability, judgment, eternity in life to come, either in paradise forever or in hell forever, we have to say Ameen.
Dr. Zaghlol, at the beginning, the very first episode we had, the Quran and Science, we discussed about the guidance and how well you can find boundaries of thinking for scientific thinking, and we also saw in previous editions about the